Hello, hello, my friends. This is the video that you guys have been waiting for. I asked you guys way back in, I want to say it was my mid-April empties, if you guys would be curious to see a video that I would probably designate somewhere along the line as the untouchables. Now, that sounds a little bit more risque and salacious in title, but what I mean by that is these are the candles that are my favorites for the spring and summer seasons. These are fragrances that if they were no longer available, and quite frankly, there's a couple of these that I'm not sure what their availability is going to be moving forward, I would be pretty upset. I would be pretty upset if I was not able to access any of these candles moving forward. So if you like this video, please make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Consider subscribing to my channel if you are new and you like content, candle content. I mean, obviously, if you're watching YouTube, you like to take in some type of content, right? But I focus primarily here on my channel on home fragrance, hoping to throw in a little bit of personal fragrance here. I'm just trying to squeeze that into my filming schedule. But yes, this video today, I have 20 candles across different brands that are just some of my all-time favorites for spring and summer. These are the ones that I could see myself just sticking with. If I wasn't a reviewer, if I wasn't getting new candles, if somebody told me, hey, your house is burned down, here's money to go get 20 new fragrances for spring and summer, these are the candles that I would run out and purchase. So I feel like this is already going to be a lengthy video, so let's not waste any more time. The first candle that I wanted to talk about here, because it is right here in front of me, and it's a big one. It's a big one here. Now, this was actually marketed in a winter collection. However, this to me is just a total spring summer fragrance. I really, really hope that Homeworx brings this back maybe this winter. They've got to bring this back at some point because this fragrance is just fantastic. This is the Homeworx and Elton John collaboration, Tangerine Palazzo. Now you can see this is an 80-ounce candle. I have burned it about halfway through. Now you can see there is a little bit of soot accumulation on there, but honestly, you guys, I'm willing to put up with it because this fragrance is just everything to me. Fragrance notes of tangerine zest, Italian orange, apricot, and sandalwood. I don't get a ton of sandalwood in here, just to let you guys know, but this is just, it's tangerine. It's not orange. It's tangerine. Oh, it's so good. It's just so fresh and like slightly zesty, not like smack you in the face zest, say like Kringle Candles Fresh Bergamot. It's just so inviting, so fresh. I've really just enjoyed pairing this with the Kringle Candle Yuzu and Sage fragrance. Apricot, yeah, you get some of that apricot in there. It's just such a great fragrance. I decided to go ahead and purchase it in this luxe size from QVC after Homeworx had sent me their advent calendar from that Woodside collection with Elton John. Sorry, I had to set that down. I was like, my arms are getting a workout. But they had sent me the advent calendar last year during the holiday season. And I remembered that was my favorite fragrance out of the entire lineup. And I was like, I have to get my hands on this and then I'll just burn it in the spring and summer because it is just, it's just a fantastic fragrance. A Kringle candle that nobody will be surprised to see in this lineup. Sorry, I'm moving my drink around. I've got limited space here, and I'm just trying to make sure I get everything in. A fragrance that has been one of my favorites for a long time over at Kringle Candle. This is, to nobody's surprise, Fresh Lilac. I have gone on and on about this fragrance being super nostalgic for me. My mother loved lilacs, particularly around the Easter holiday. We have fragrance notes of lilac, floral musk, freesia, jasmine, magnolia, sweet pea, tuberose. Don't let all of those fragrance notes confuse you. This fragrance to me is quintessential. You freshly went and cut lilacs off of a lilac bush. You get the woody element of the stem in here as well as those like really heady lilac petals. This candle is just, it's my ultimate favorite. This is my last 3-wick of this candle. I've already burned through 1 3-wick of it this spring. I'm going to finish up this one, and then this is available now in the 4-wick candle, which, by the way, this one performs really strong in a 3-wick, so I can only imagine that 4-wick is probably going to like blow us out of the house. But I love this fragrance. I would be so disappointed if they got rid of it. It is my number one spring. I would say it's my number one spring floral of all time. And again, if you like lilac, I always put that disclosure in there. Lilac is, again, a very nostalgic fragrance for me. So I love this scent. It is my #1 lilac fragrance. However, this year, a fragrance from Kringle's Reserve lineup joined that one. It is like not very far off from being in this category. Fresh lilac will be #1 for me just because of the nostalgia element of it being a freshly cut lilac. But coming in very closely behind it is this new Lilac and Lily. This is new in 2025 from the Reserve collection. We have fragrance notes of lilac, lily, green, floral, musk. It says musk twice here. Oh no, moss, musk and moss. My 40-year-old eyes are getting a little bit harder to read there. This one's good too. Now, this does not have that woody element. There's a little bit more lily in this. This is mixed lilac and lily, but it's just pretty. This is just such a pretty scent when I smell it, and it pairs beautifully with the fresh lilac scent. You guys know I'm somebody that likes to burn usually 2 candles at a time in my home, usually one out here in the open concept, another usually in my master bedroom, and occasionally I'll burn one in my girls' bedroom. And I like the fragrances to complement each other, and this lilac and lily pairs so nicely with Kringle's fresh lilac. This one is not as strong as fresh lilac either. I would give this one about a 7 in terms of strength and throw, which really truthfully is perfect for it because I feel like if it were any stronger, it's going to be too much. Like I would even say that fresh lilac for me in the 3-wick is too strong in my bedroom. I always have to burn it out here in the open concept. But this one's just perfect for the bedroom, and I love it. And the picture is beautiful on it. So lilac and lily for the win here. Trying to rearrange some things. I wanted to talk about another Kringle candle that was actually the first fragrance that I fell in love with over at Kringle. And I did not have it in my collection this spring and summer because I know that it's a staple. I know that it's been around for a long time, much like Fresh Lilac has been. But the real reason why I was waiting to get it back into my collection is because I was waiting for it to be poured into a 4-wick, which I was very happy when I most recently checked the website. It is now available in a 4-wick, and that fragrance would be Rosemary Lemon. Now, I don't have it right here in front of me. You may see it in the next couple of weeks. Just a little spoiler alert for a haul coming up. But Rosemary Lemon is one of my all-time favorite fragrances from Kringle Candle. It's definitely a very clean, almost astringent lemon, which I'm not afraid of those fragrances. I love lemon scents. I love them in Gourmands. I love them in those more like fresh, cleaner one. But the addition of rosemary with that lemon, you would not think that, like off the hand, I wouldn't have thought like, oh, let's go ahead and combine lemon and rosemary. Fabulous fragrance. I have always gotten so many compliments when I burn that fragrance in my home. And I've always said that if you want people to walk into your home and just think that you have been cleaning all day, that your house is sparkly clean, burn Rosemary Lemon. It's incredible. Now, I will say that another fragrance that I think that will pair really nicely with that Rosemary Lemon, if you want completely clean house fresh vibes, the new Lemon Splash Reserve fragrance I think will pair really nicely with that one. But yeah, Rosemary Lemon is another fragrance that I need to have back in my collection ASAP, because that is one of my all-time favorite fragrances from them. Another candle that I wanted to talk about from a brand that has been new to me within the last 6 months, but this fragrance, you guys know which fragrance I'm going to talk about here. I can't even have it right here in front of me because it is so large and in charge. It's sitting over on my dining room table right now, but it is Caramel Sundays Bakery on Main. Now, the caveat I will say about Bakery on Main, it is a vanilla fragrance. Very similar to Bath & Body Works Vanilla Bean with a little bit more of an authentic vanilla cupcake note in there. So it's not a dupe for Vanilla Bean, but if you like Vanilla Bean from Bath & Body Works, you will like Bakery on Main. I would wager to say you actually probably might like it a little bit more because there's a little bit more of like a vanilla cupcake note in there. Now, the thing I will say is that I have not had it in a 2-wick. I have only had it in a 4-wick format. I had it in the 4-wick 40 ounce. And then during the most recent Caramel Sundays restock in April, I bought it in the huge 150 ounce vessel. I'm going to tell you, in that 4-wick format, it performs. It performs very, very well in my house. It's the best performing vanilla that I have come across. And like it being like a true vanilla, like not a true vanilla gourmand. It's not vanilla floral. It's not vanilla sandalwood. It's definitely vanilla gourmand. It's been the best performing. I have lit that huge candle now twice, and both times it just completely fills up this open concept. It is an incredible fragrance. I know that it is Caramel Sundays, like their flagship fragrance, so I don't see them ever getting rid of it, but I would be very, very disappointed if I couldn't get my hands on it. It is the #1 vanilla gourmand fragrance for me moving forward. It blends so well with florals, with other gourmands. I can see myself burning it going into the fall or winter, which is also why I decided that purchasing it in that larger format really is worth the money to me, because I know that I can blend it with so many fragrances for every season. So Caramel Sundays Bakery on Main is another fragrance that I just love. I just love, love, love. Let's talk about a Homeworx candle. We're circling back to Homeworx here. Blueberry cheesecake. All right, so blueberry cheesecake and I had a little bit of a run-in or a dust-up in 2024. I got a version of blueberry cheesecake last year that I was like, this is not the original blueberry cheesecake that I remembered. It definitely smelled more like, it was more like the triple berry pie fragrance, which I liked that scent. It kind of reminded me a little bit of going to Knott's Berry Farm. But yeah, it's a great fragrance. I'm happy to say I did get blueberry cheesecake again this year, and this one smells a little bit more authentic to the original, although I will say there is part of me that still feels like this doesn't have as much of the like crust note or the maybe like creamy cheesecake note that I remember. Maybe my memory is a little bit wrong. Regardless, I do love this blueberry cheesecake fragrance. It is a very like, it's a very kind of like dense blueberry type of scent. Um, so yummy, so delicious. Now there is another blueberry candle that I actually loved a little bit more from Homeworx, but I have not seen it available in the last 2 years. So I kind of had to put blueberry cheesecake in instead of that one, and that would have been Farm Stand Blueberry. If Farm Stand Blueberry ever comes back to SLATKIN & Co. or the Homeworx website, I would definitely repurchase that fragrance, and that would actually be my #1 blueberry fragrance from Homeworx. But again, I haven't seen him come out with that in the last 2 years, so I'm hoping that didn't get the axe, because that was a great fragrance. Blueberry cheesecake has filled in the gap for right now, but yeah, this is a good one for me, and this one so far has been performing well. Now, that being said, the pour date on this is May 30th of 2024. So this fragrance, you know, it's been sitting a little bit longer. One of the things I will say with Homeworx candles is that they do have that little quirk where the longer that you let them cure and sit, the stronger they are. Part of me wonders if that's why my Tangerine Palazzo has been performing so well for me. That one, yes, it has 5 wicks. It's a big candle, but also it's been sitting for a couple of months longer from the time that I purchased it. So that one is performing very, very strongly for me. All right, while we are talking about kind of some holy grail fragrances, let's talk about one that is on pretty much a lot of people at Kringle Candle. Their holy grail: do not touch this fragrance. We will riot in the streets if you get rid of this scent. I know that there's been a few people that have bought this and said, I don't get the hype, I don't love it, and that's okay. You're still welcome here. But Jelly Donut. Jelly Donut, everybody, 90% of people who purchase from Kringle, I would say, love Jelly Donut. Fragrance notes of raspberry, blackberry, pastry, fruit, citrus, butter, and vanilla. Now, I will say, to me, I don't get a ton of a donut accord really in here, or maybe it's not the same like fried pastry donut note that I typically think that title belongs to Homeworx. They do that very, very well for the most part. But what I get in here, it's the raspberry filling in here. The mixture with the blackberry makes this unique. It's not your typical raspberry jam jelly type of fragrance. I love this scent so much. This is my second one. Now, I did actually gift one of the Jelly Donut candles. I actually had 2 of these, and I gifted one to a good friend of mine at Christmas because I knew that she would love this fragrance. I am waiting, like the rest of you guys, for this to come back in a 4 wick. But I will tell you guys, I actually don't even really think that I need it in a 4-wick because the 2-wick is very strong in my house. When I burn this, it's a good solid 8.5 in terms of strength and throw, and it quickly starts to throw. It's also one of those fragrances, you know, some candles, you light them up and they take a little bit longer to start throwing. Whereas that's not really the case with this one. This one, within the first 15 minutes, I can start smelling it across the room. So Jelly Donut, Kringle, I think you guys know this, but do not ever get rid of this fragrance. We love it. We need more of it. Let's go ahead and switch things up a little bit with a Yankee candle fragrance. You guys know I don't shop a ton with Yankee. They are kind of the OG of home fragrance for me. My mom was a pretty loyal Yankee burner back in the 90s. So there are some fragrances from Yankee that are quite nostalgic to me. And some I have actually discovered more as an adult and really, really loved. And that is the case with this fragrance. This is the fragrance Pink Sands. Now I don't have the fragrance notes in front of me, but Pink Sands has been around a long time at Yankee Candle. Now this is in the 3-wick. This fragrance, I think that there's some type of like melon and berries in this. It also kind of has like a beachy vibe to it. I don't know how to describe it. Very summery, perfect for this time of year. I would say especially the month of May is when I really enjoy burning this. So Pink Sands smells very, very similar to Bath & Body Works had a candle a couple of years ago called Flamingo Beach. Very similar. If you liked Flamingo Beach, you're going to like Pink Sands. Now, I will tell you that I have gotten really good strength and throw out of this 3-wick. And I was thinking like, wow, this is really going to perform well for me all the way down. I will tell you that last night I was burning this candle and you will see that the wicks on this, you can see that like they're burned and then there's some like white wick under it. It's because I ended up, the last burn that I did on this, which I was at about a little under the halfway point on this, it started to develop those puny, slow burning wicks like some of my Yankee 3-wicks have done, and like a lot of my Bath & Body Works ones do, which when they do that, they start to alter the fragrance because they're burning so slowly and the wax begins to get sooty. So what I typically do to try to correct that problem is I will dump some wax to see if maybe the wicks will self-adjust. So we'll see on the next one. But this is a fragrance that I absolutely love. I would love for another brand to possibly put this in a soy formula. I'd love that. Kringle, caramel sundaes. I'd like you guys to dupe this one so that I could get a cleaner burn. But I do love this fragrance. And like I said, it does perform pretty well for me in terms of strength and throw. But last night I was noticing that the strength and throw was diminished. And when I looked over at it, I was like, oh, that's why. It's because the wicks are starting to burn a little bit slower. So unfortunately, Yankee, they need to improve the wick situation on that, but that fragrance is one that I love year in and year out. Here's a fragrance from Bath & Body Works. Yes, you guys know I have really scaled back on purchasing from Bath & Body Works recently just because I've had a lot of burn issues with them. However, they do have some fragrances that I absolutely love, and I jokingly say that I will remain in a toxic relationship with these toxic candles. Because I just love the fragrance so much. One of those fragrances is Hummingbird Tea Cake. Now, fragrance notes on Hummingbird Tea Cake are pineapple cake batter, cinnamon spice, toasted pecans. I love this fragrance. It reminds me of the spice cake note that you get in their iced carrot cake fragrance. I love this scent because it's the spice cake note, but there's something a little bit more sweet to it. Now, it comes across as maybe like a mixture between pineapple and banana to me, but I love this scent. And it's funny, I'll burn this like in January for a little bit, but then I also see myself wanting to burn this candle probably later in the summer. I like to burn this along with Kringle Candles Fruit and Flakes or their 3-wick Sugared Diamonds. It's the same fragrance. It's kind of got a little bit of like a banana feel to it. It smells a little bit more like a summertime kind of spicy gourmand. Sometimes when I'm craving something other than all of like the heavy tropical fruity scents. I really, really like this fragrance, Hummingbird Tea Cake. I could see myself purchasing another one of these if they're in stock during SAS because I only have one. And I might want one or two more just in case they ever discontinue it because I do like that fragrance. I think I also heard that this year's version burned pretty well. So again, that might draw me in again. All right, let's talk about another fragrance that is new to Kringle this year, but it quickly made its place into my You must bring this back. And I'm going to tell you guys, last week I was actually briefly looking on the Kringle website because they're doing that BOGO sale, that Mother's Day sale. And I was like, okay, let's see if there's any other fragrances in here. So typically when I'm buying a sale, like sale items with Kringle, I'm always looking at maybe some reserves or the 4 wicks or whatnot to maybe save some money on extra shipping. And then, you know, I'll throw one of those in my cart. But I saw that Jelly Donut was back in stock. Surprisingly, I did not buy another one because I'm waiting for the 4 wick in that. But this one, I briefly saw it in stock, added it to my cart, and then when I went to go to my cart, it was removed because it's already sold out again. Red Velvet. Now, this was part of a reserve collection that was launched close to Valentine's Day. So it wasn't specifically marketed as a Valentine's Day candle, but it was around that time of year. Kringle, this needs to come back. 4 wick, even great performance in the 2 wick. This is such an authentic red velvet fragrance. Now, I've kind of been savoring it. Like I've got maybe about a third to a quarter of the wax left in this. This, if I burn this with that bakery on Main, oh my word, get out of here. My house is going to smell so good. Fragrance notes are chocolate, sweet, milk chocolate, cocoa, and vanilla cream. And I will tell you guys, I know a lot of other people have said this too. Kringle does chocolate fragrances probably the best out of any brands that I have tried. I really, really like the way that they do chocolate fragrances, and that's saying a lot because I don't love chocolate fragrances in general. I like to eat chocolate. I'll eat it all the time, and I'll eat red velvet cake like it's going out of style. I love red velvet cake. This fragrance to me, I have said red velvet, this candle smells like you are baking a red velvet cake in your oven. So you will notice there's no cream cheese frosting in here, which I actually think that they did themselves a good service by not including a cream cheese frosting note in here, because one of the things I mentioned in their carrot cake candle from this year was that I felt like they tried to increase or change the frosting note that was kind of missing in the 2024 country candle version of carrot cake. And I felt like it made the candle smell almost a little bit off. And I feel like by omitting the frosting note and just sticking to the actual cake accord on this candle, it was perfection. I don't need the frosting note, to be honest with you guys. Again, I can pair that with Bakery on Main here because that's got a little bit more of that like vanilla buttercream. This is just done so, so well. And I will tell you the difference. Sometimes people say, what is the difference between a red velvet cake and a chocolate cake? Red velvet cake, when you're making it, actually calls for a little bit of white vinegar in the batter, which is what kind of gives it a little bit of a different flavor. It's still very much in that chocolate vein, but it's slightly different. I actually enjoy it a little bit more than traditional milk chocolate. No, but they need to bring this back. I need this in a 4 wick. And I was so disappointed. I thought, yes, I'm going to get my hands on another red velvet. Nope, out of my cart it went. So what a disappointment. But hopefully that one there will be more of them poured soon because I definitely need more of that in my life. Let's go ahead and talk about another Kringle candle that has been a staple in my collection. This is probably one of my most versatile summer fragrances from Kringle Candle. I know a lot of other people rave about this one. This is Sea Breeze. Now, this is in the 3 wick format. I believe that the 3 wicks are sold out now. This is available in the 4 wick. One of the things I did want to say, and if Kringle, if you're watching this, for whatever reason, the Kringle Sea Breeze fragrance does not show up when you click on the 4 wicks on the Kringle website, like, you know, when they have the drop down thing. When you click on the 4 wicks, Sea Breeze does not come up. However, if you type in Sea Breeze into the search bar, it'll pop up a 4 wick on there. So I did want to let you guys know, in case you are looking for Sea Breeze in a 4 wick, which I'm going to say is probably my recommended format on this candle. That's how you can get a hold of it. But oh, this one's so good. Fragrance notes. You guys know, you're going to hear me saying this one's so good because I love all of these. Again, they're my favorites. Fragrance notes of ozone, coconut, fruit, green, coconut, amber. Now, on the 2 wicks and on the 4 wicks, the label on this is like you're on a white sandy beach with the palm trees just kind of like blowing in the wind. And I feel like Sea Breeze is just such an appropriate name for this candle because while you do detect coconut in here, it's beachy without being sunscreeny or overly tropical fruity. It just reminds you of like beach air, I guess. That's the best way that I could put it. I love this fragrance. Now, an alternative to this, if you do not like coconut in your beachy fragrances, another one that didn't quite make this list, but it's up there. I would say it's one of the other fragrances that I really love is Sea Salt and Tonka. Sea Salt and Tonka also has that like seaside air vibe. It's slightly a little bit more masculine, but there's no coconut note in it. So I would say if you want something that's a little bit more like sea salt air, try out the Sea Salt and Tonka. But this one, I love it. It blends so beautifully with a variety of other fragrances in my collection. If you like banana scent, this one goes really nicely with that. In fact, I'm going to show you my new favorite fragrance combo for this summer that I'm going to be burning the heck out of. But I love Kringle Candles Sea Breeze. The candle that I have discovered this within the last month and a half that it is my number one combo with Sea Breeze right now is Caramel Sundays Banana Boat. Now I don't have the fragrance notes for Banana Boat written down here in front of me. I think they are top notes of pineapple and lime, mid notes of banana and coconut, and then a base note of vanilla. I did the review, so I'm trying to remember how I typed it all out. So this fragrance smells quite a bit like the iconic sunscreen of Banana Boat. Now, I will say that when you sniff this one on cold and when you initially light it, you do get those top notes first, a little bit of pineapple and lime. But the longer that this candle burns, I get more of that creamy banana and coconut. It almost starts to remind me of Sunbum sunscreen, which is my favorite. Now, I did purchase this in the 2-wick in the most recent Caramel Sundays haul. I do also have this in the 4-wick 40-ounce candle. And I will say that that candle performs a lot better in my open concept. The 4-wick does. I will just say with Caramel Sundays, a lot of their 4-wick candles, if you have an open concept, that's going to be the route that you're going to want to go. There are a couple of 2-wicks. I have a 2-wick here that has made a last minute addition into this favorites. And it is performing very, very well for me. But on the whole, I would say that if you have a bigger open concept style of house, you're probably going to want to spring for the 4-wicks if it's within your budget. I did buy the 2-wick on this because, again, I do have enough of the Sea Breeze candle. I like it as a combo, but I still have half of my 40-ounce Banana Boat, and I figured, okay, I can finish that one up and then probably burn through this one for this summer and I'll be good. I feel like this is a fragrance that Caramel Sundays will continue to bring back because I feel like it's a popular scent in their lineup. But this one, so good if you love like those beachy, summery types of vibes. I'm trying to look down here to see what ones I don't have in front of me so that way I don't forget them. Let's talk about a candle that I'm actually burning in the other bedroom right now. So I don't have it right here in front of me, but it is in my collection. It is Kringle Candle Reserve Orange. Now, again, don't have it sitting right here in front of me to tell you the fragrance notes, but if you are somebody who just wants an authentic, juicy orange, there's nothing else added to it. It's not like a popsicle. It's not overly sweetened. It's not orange. Maybe it's a little bit more like along the lines of like orange juice. That's probably the best way that I would describe it. You're going to want Kringle Candles Orange. It is probably one of the best citrus fragrances. It is probably my favorite citrus fragrance from Kringle Candle because there's no herbaceous notes mixed with it. Again, it's just a good, pure, almost like orange juice type of fragrance, and it goes so nicely with a variety of candles. I'm actually currently burning Caramel Sundays Sublime Vanilla here in my living room today, and that orange fragrance just pairs really nicely with it. So that is another candle. I actually saw that one go on sale, I want to say around Christmas time, and so I made sure to buy another one because I was like, yeah, that one goes well with a lot of other candles in my collection. While we are talking about fragrances that I don't have in front of me that are also orange type of candles, this is one that I am actually, it's on my radar to go ahead and repurchase it. It is Homeworx's Valencia Orange. Now, the orange note in that candle is different than the orange that I get in Kringle's Reserve Orange. Valencia Orange to me smells almost like an orange popsicle. They did have, what was it called? Was it called Orange Creamsicle? Yeah, I think it was called like Orange Creamsicle a couple of years ago. And I will tell you that if you liked that fragrance, it is the same orange note minus the like creamy vanilla center that you would get in an orange creamsicle popsicle, but it smells more like an orange popsicle to me. I love it. I love that scent. Again, Orange is a scent that I tend to burn anywhere from January all the way throughout summer. So I do love Valencia Orange, and I could see myself wanting to purchase another one soon. And then another candle from Homeworx that will always have a place in my heart, even though my last one burned a little bit dirty for me, is their birthday cake candle. Now, birthday cake, I always say, if you like that funfetti boxed cake mix that you can get at the grocery store, put it in the oven, freshly bake it. That's the fragrance you're going to get from birthday cake from Homeworx. That's what it smells like when I burn it. It's different than Bakery on Main from Caramel Sundays. It's obviously different than Red Velvet Cake. It definitely smells like funfetti cake to my nose. I love that scent. I've loved it for many years. And it's one that I oftentimes burn in the spring and summer because, again, it's a vanilla. It's got a little bit of a caramel note in it, but again, it burns really well with a lot of floral fragrances. And on top of that, both of my daughters have birthdays in February, so that's why I always associate it with kind of like late winter, early spring birthday cake. Great fragrance that they have there. And then while I'm on the subject here, I'm just looking at fragrances that I don't have right in front of me because I don't want to forget about them. Here's one that popped up on the wait list on QVC. It was available last year from Homeworx. It made my top 5 candles from Homeworx last year. I have no idea if it's coming back this year. I sincerely hope it is. I would really, really, really like to get my hands on it again, and it would be the fragrance Key Lime Cake. That was a fabulous summertime gourmand. I know that Harry Slatkin does gourmand fragrances very, very well. I want more of it. Again, I put it in order on the wait list at QVC. I don't know if I'm going to get it, but I surely hope so, because that fragrance is fantastic. It's definitely, you get that like white cake note, but there's also the key lime note in there. The lime note in there reminds me of another fragrance that I will be showing you guys here very briefly. But yeah, it's a fantastic fragrance, and I really, really hope that it makes a comeback this summer. And then the last fragrance, again, that I don't currently have in my collection, again, because Bath & Body Works candles, I've had some dirty burns with them over the last 6 months. And so there's part of me that hopes that this is a fragrance that will remain in their rotation moving forward. And maybe I will try it again in like their next iteration that they put out. But it is Pink Lavender and Espresso. Now that fragrance to me is definitely more of like an early spring scent. It's probably one that I wouldn't really burn so much right now. I do know that it's similar to Lavender Marshmallow, but I feel like the addition of the espresso note in that candle makes it a little bit more suited for like evening time burns or whatnot. I do like that scent a lot. And again, I really like, I don't want you guys to hear that like I'm hating on Bath & Body Works. Like, I really want them to get it together. I want to be able to review Bath & Body Works candles more. I want to be able to purchase them more with confidence, but I've just had such issues with a lot of their burns recently that I'm like, I don't even want to spend any money on them because I had to crock them, or I had to, pour out some wax to try to get them fixed. And I just don't want to deal with the hassle of that. So I'm going to count on a lot of you guys. Let me know in the comment box down below if you guys are still purchasing from Bath & Body Works a lot. I know there's a lot of you who do, and I'm still watching a lot of my fellow creators who purchase a lot from them to see what their reviews are. But if you guys are having good experiences with Bath & Body Works as we're going into the summertime, let me know. So that way I know, okay, maybe I should start purchasing from them again. But for the last few months, I just have really not been that excited about purchasing from them, which has been a bit of a bummer. Okay, let's get back to fragrances that are right here in front of me. Now, this is the other fragrance that I just mentioned to you. That Key Lime Cake had very similar vibes to this fragrance, which had more of like, the Key Lime Cake had more of a cake note in it. But this fragrance to me, I can't let go of it because it's my #1 favorite lime fragrance of all time, and it is Yankee Candle's Vanilla Lime. Now, Vanilla Lime, again, I don't have fragrance notes in front of me. Again, so good. It is just lime and vanilla. It's almost like maybe a little bit of, not a sorbet, I wouldn't say. It's fresh, zesty lime, but you get some vanilla in the background. Now, again, this is in their paraffin wax formula. I don't love paraffin wax. My plan this summer is actually to probably stick this in my candle crock because, truth be told, you guys, I tried burning this the other day with even like the Illuma lid and everything, and it was in my daughter's bedroom, which is one of the smaller rooms in our house, and I could barely smell it, and that was very disappointing. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to crock it and then probably burn it with that bakery on Main to try to get that like key lime cake vibe going on because I just love this scent so much. Again, it's probably a little bit of like a nostalgia thing. I burned this a couple of summers after Cody and I were first married. And so I think I have like some sweet summer memories with it. But yeah, I love this fragrance. Now, I will tell you, I'm burning it right now. The Caramel Sundays Sublime Vanilla is not a dupe of this fragrance. Similar, but it's not the exact same. The Sublime Vanilla actually has a note of orange in there, similar to, it's actually, I'm detecting the similar orange note as the orange that I pick up in the Reserve Orange fragrance. I do smell some of that in the Sublime Vanilla. It's still a lime forward fragrance, but it's balanced out with a little bit more orange. So it's not the same. There's no orange or anything in this fragrance. Maybe a little bit of lemon to add some sweetness, but I don't detect any orange or bergamot. I would say if there's a lime fragrance that you want to be more zesty and fresh, the fresh bergamot from Country Candle, Kringle Country Candle, that's going to be that route. But this one, still my number one lime fragrance. Okay, I think I have 3 more candles to talk about here. While we're talking about caramel sundaes, you guys, I most recently hauled this candle, and you guys will not believe this. This is one of the candles that I almost didn't purchase. I almost didn't purchase it. It was one that I thought, I already have fragrances similar to that. I started burning this, and I immediately sent a DM to Caramel Sundaes and said, please bring this back. I need more of this. This is Blueberry Lemon Crumble. So I don't have the notes in front of me because, again, I forgot. They're over there. You know, they don't put the notes on the bottom. This is so good. And you know what's so funny? People, I think it was Sierra told me that she felt it smelled like this, and a couple of other people had written reviews saying that it smells like this. You know what this smells like? It kind of reminds me of Trix cereal. I know that sounds funny. I haven't eaten Trix since I was a kid because Trix are for kids, right? But that's kind of what this reminds me of. That's why I was saying like there was something almost nostalgic when I smelled this scent, and that's I think what I'm making the affiliation with. I do know that they have a cartoon, right, or like a morning cartoons or Sunday morning cereal that it looks like Fruit Loops, Milk and Fruit Loops. That's what it is, Milk and Fruit Loops. They have that scent, which you think, okay, there's cereal, but this is so good. And I'm going to tell you guys, I've only burned this candle twice. This is one of the fragrances I have told you with Caramel Sundaes. Sometimes it takes about 3 burns for some of their candles to really get going in terms of performing. Not this one. This one for me, first burn within 15 minutes. I had it lit over here. I could smell it all the way over in the kitchen. I was like, oh, that smells delicious. This is a great fragrance. Please come out with this like in a 4-wick at some point, but also your 2-wick is performing great for me right now. Now, I did see somebody else say that their 2-wick was not performing as well for them in terms of strength and throw. But for me, I could smell this, and I had this burning this morning for about 4 hours, and it was just divine. So I definitely need more of this because I am absolutely loving this fragrance. And then let's go ahead and take a moment real quick. What are the other 2 candles that you think have made it into this spring and summer lineup? I'll give you a little hint. They're both from Kringle Candle. I think if you've been with my channel any length of time, you guys are going to know what they are. The first of the 2, my beloved Lemon Sugar Marshmallow. You guys know there was going to be no favorites video without Lemon Sugar Marshmallow in it. Fragrance notes of lemon, sweet, lemon zest, pastry, vanilla, and sugar. Now, personally, I know that I am on the, I would sign the petition that Kringle needs to make this a year-round fragrance and just call it lemon bars. Because that's what it smells like to me. I know that the picture of like a peep on the front is a little bit deceptive of what you might be smelling, but this just smells like lemon bars to me. It's the same lemon note that you would have in Cosmic Cupcakes, if you're familiar with that fragrance from the Country lineup. It's almost like a very tart, sweet lemon curd. But I get a little bit of like a crust note in there, like a pastry note in the bottom of it. I just love this fragrance. It is my number 1 lemon gourmand scent. yeah, I did purchase a backup of it before it went out of stock in the most recent sale. This is actually one of the fragrances that I have personally DM'd Mick and said, please do not ever get rid of this. I love this fragrance so much. It is fantastic. And he likes the fragrance as well. So I hope that means that it is safe to stick around. And then the other fragrance that is rounding out my summer favorites, this was my #1 fragrance from 2024. It is still very high up there for the spring and summer. This is Kringle Candles Ice Cream Sandwiches. Fragrance notes are not written on the bottom of this vessel because I've had this one, goodness, well, it came out, gosh, this was poured in at the end of 2023. Wow, I've had this one for a while. It's because I've actually already burned through one 3-wick. I have another 3-wick to burn through, and then I have this 2-wick. And once I get through that, I will be purchasing this in the 4-wick, although I will tell you, the 4-wick is not necessary in terms of strength and throw on this. Now, this I will tell you, you get a creaminess, but the notes I smell the most are a macadamia mixed with some chocolate. I know that some people get more chocolate out of this fragrance. My nose detects more macadamia nut in here, coconut, and some chocolate. There's the creaminess of like an ice cream in here. This is one of their very, very well done gourmand fragrances. I would say this one, red velvet, jelly donut, lemon sugar marshmallow. Those are some of their gourmands that I feel like Kringle has done very, very well. Ironically, I feel like for me, the gourmand fragrances with Kringle that kind of miss the mark for me are the ones that are very heavily based in caramel. I don't tend to love those as much. They come across a little bit like, I don't want to say singed. That's not the right word. Scorched. Scorched would be more so the word. Singed reminds me of like burning hair, like that. Not like that, but like scorched. Sometimes they're caramel notes. But I do notice that a lot of the gourmands that they do in the spring and summer really, really hit my nose well. We all want Kringle to expand more into the old gourmand. The gourmand field, particularly spring and summer. Kringle do it more often. You guys do it well. They sell out. So please give us more. The people want more. So I think that is it. Those are my top 20 fragrances for spring and summer 2025. Let me know in the comment box down below if any of these are currently your favorites. Maybe you would throw in some of additional ones in there. I'd like to hear maybe like what your top 5 are. If you have a top 3 or top 5 fragrances that you just know that, like, if your house burned down, let's hope it doesn't, especially with all the candles we burned. Gosh, that was a bad pun, I think, for a candle channel. If something happened, let's just say, and you were only given money to repurchase 5 candles, which ones would they be for the spring and summer? I'm always curious to hear what your guys' preferences are. So again, if you liked this video, please hit the thumbs up button. It was really fun for me to challenge myself and come up with this list. Again, consider subscribing to my channel if you are new. Also, I did want to let you guys know that all of the candles that I talked about today, I will have listed down below for you. Like I said, some of them are not currently available, but some of them are. And so if they are available, I will make sure to have them linked down below for you. I do have affiliate discount codes with a couple of these brands. So you can always feel free to use that if you want to save a little bit of extra money. But again, you guys, I do want to say thank you so very, very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.